Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I am Bear.
Nonsense. I don't believe that for a second. But I am Brian.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Well, why would I believe that? That just sounds like a bunch of nonsense. So we are back.
Yeah.
We got a lot of topics today, and
Yeah.
we are going to talk about everything, all sorts of stuff. We got what do we got? What are our topics? I don't even remember any of them. I haven't been
Who
paying attention.
knows? Who knows? I certainly haven't been paying attention. Is anything going on this week that's newsworthy? I mean, gas prices, car plants. I don't know.
Well, I was reading the cover of People magazine, and there's been a lot of celebrity things going on.
People magazine, is that? I assume that's still a magazine.
Actually, I have no idea.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah, and that's okay though, because I'm really not interested in that, and I don't think anybody here is.
No.
Well,
No,
maybe
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe a secondary kind of interest. Ford. What's up there?
Ford is doing some, I think, some good stuff. They are kind of splitting up the company, and what's called radical is they're going to have the Ford Model E and the Ford Blue. So two different divisions, one for electric and one for ICE-powered vehicles. So I think it's a good way to go for them as long as they can
Yeah.
execute.
I
What do you
think
think?
it kind of is. I think they should have. Wall Street was saying that they should have done this split legit rather than in principle. I think it'll be a difficult move, but I love what that means for the new Mach E. Its new name is the Ford E Mach E Mustang GT. Ford E Mach E Mustang GT. Yeah. That's
Are you
keyword
serious?
stuff in Ford. Come on. We see through you.
Yeah, if they would drop the Mustang out of there, I'd be very happy.
It's not a Mustang. It's four doors, man. It's a CUV, kind of.
No, it absolutely is. It's a crossover.
Yeah.
So they just wanted to draw on that name. I was talking to somebody the other day about that. Why didn't they drop the name? It's like, well, they could have gone with Fusion, but they've had electric Fusions before. They could have gone with the Focus. They've had electric Focuses, and none of them were big hits.
Well, if they
So
wanted to be accurate, they could have called it the Mex E.
the Mex E, is
Uh-huh.
that related to being made in Mexico?
Yeah, yeah. Did you not know
Oh,
that? Oh, yeah, the Mach E is
yeah,
made in Mexico.
yeah, I knew that. I think that they just should have. They could have gone with the Edge, the Escape. They got 400 different crossovers.
The Edge
They all start.
would have been. I mean, it's almost the size of an Edge.
And the thing is, all of them start with E. Also, have you noticed that?
Explorer,
And
yeah.
E, Expedition, Explorer,
Escort,
Edge, Escape, Escort.
Ford Escort.
Yeah, I
Well, I
know,
mean,
but
don't use that name. That car does not have cachet. But this is interesting. It will. They want the upside of the legacy ICE margins with the upside of the startup EV valuation. And it's tricky, and we'll see what happens. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to split it into an IPO
No,
yet.
no.
And I think it's interesting is because of what they can do with the dealerships. There was talk about fixed prices,
Right,
but the dealerships are still going to deliver them. Maybe they'll
right.
give the dealers $1,000 for delivering each one, but you can order it online and you pick it up at the dealership. Then you can have your walkthroughs, your training, your service to get your windshield wiper fluid added, things like that. I th- I just think that it might be a push to push the dealers out, which I think would be fantastic.
Well, and the dealerships can still make money on the back end with financing and
Yes.
all kinds of services you may not need. But I mean, even gap coverage, a lot of people have benefited from that. That is one of the more honest things that a dealership sells.
Yeah, it is. And out here in Arizona, we have what's called the Desert Protection Package.
Oh,
And it's supposed to protect you from the desert. protect your paint. It doesn't do anything. And I know in other places like where you're at, they have some sort of salt protection packages or something that they would put on.
That's bigger in the Midwest. In the Northwest, we don't use salt, so we don't have those kinds of corrosion problems. But they'll still do, they'll Scotch guard your car for $3,000, or apply a protective coating to your paint, which is nothing at all. Or they'll
Yeah.
pre-sell you oil changes. I had a dealer, the last car I bought at a dealership was not even in my county. And they were like, if you agree to the prepaid oil changes, we'll get you. I was like, buddy, you're in another county. I'm not driving an hour each way to get my oil changed.
Yeah, I've had the same issues because there's a Ford dealership here in Arizona that is a volume dealer. So whenever I want to buy something that's Ford related, or if they have a used car there that I like, I will drive across town because they will sell rock bottom. That's where I got my Model 3. They didn't even know what they had. They couldn't get it charged. It had 6 miles on it, so they just wanted it out the door. And I bought several vehicles from them, and they just dropped the price. Online, you'll find the prices just like discounted $10,000 on a brand new vehicle. They're just volume, and that's the best way to go to a dealership or find a dealership is one that is a volume dealer. But they always try to sell me this stuff, and I'm just like, listen, I am not driving 70 miles to get an oil change because when I get home, I'm going to need another one. So
I knew of a guy who worked at a Toyota dealership, and he didn't put in long hours. He didn't sit there all day waiting. He had a book of customers, and the deal is, send me your friends, send me your mom. Anybody comes in, I will show you the invoice on the car and sell it to you for $500 over that, period. Because they make so much money on the back end, it doesn't matter. And I was like, oh God, if all of us could do that. And it's like, how do you convince your manager to let you do that? Well, you have to have a big book of business. It's like, oh, okay. So stupid.
well, from what I know of dealerships, if you sell a car 500 over invoice, you're actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I've sold cars when I was at a dealership for a loss of $1,000
Right.
on the invoice, and I've gone in and I've negotiated deals where I know I'm below their invoice, or at least the one that they're going to show me, and you can always haggle. I don't even think $500 over invoice is that good,
Right.
because if there is a manufacturer incentive, they're keeping it.
Right.
So
Right. And there always is. And then there's all the financing dollars. So let's get past Ford. How's Rivian doing this week?
they are You know the expression, you're stepping on your beep.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
Right now they're getting sued, and this actually looks kind of like a suable offense.
Yeah.
It's
They really sat on their own beanbag this time.
yeah, and
being sued.
that does not feel good.
No, and I think the suit will not go forward because in the next article here, they have backtracked. The price has been put back to where it was for existing reservation holders, which is going to mean a loss of $1 billion or $2 billion. But in the grand scheme of a startup, it's fine. Let it happen. One thing I didn't get on here that I noticed yesterday when I was putting together a video is how different the curb weight on the R1T is compared to what was expected. It was expected to have a curb weight of like 56 to 5,800 pounds. And it came in, as you know, at like, what, 7,200 pounds?
71 or 7,200.
Yeah, like
that is
yeah.
that is a huge difference that they like forget to account for the motors or something.
Right. I don't know. I think the battery
and-
certainly ended up bigger than they wanted it to be, I'm sure.
To probably get the range that they wanted. But that lawsuit will go forward because that lawsuit is not the fact that they raised prices and then lowered them. It's the fact that they are not able. They're basically saying we're not able to make a profit at the price that we put out for the IPO. And now that the IPO is out, did really well. Now they have to backtrack and change the price because that really does change the outlook of an investor. Because the vehicle's now priced for $14,000 more.
Yeah.
It's not as a viable product as it was during the IPO.
Yeah.
So I think that lawsuit will still go on.
Yeah. Yep. The reviews I've seen are very good for the product itself. I'm sure there's plenty of hiccups in terms of launch quality, but it's a good product. It seems just, boy, I ain't paying $100,000 for a truck.
I will. The Cybertruck.
Yeah, but this is not a work truck. You can't. I mean, it's a
No.
it's a vanity glamour.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle
vehicle.
vehicle. I couldn't think of a less insulting term. So that's wonderful. GM has sold out of Lordstown. It looks
Yes,
like their
they-
lockup period expired. Boy, I tell you, that is a pretty truck, but
That
GM
would have
sure
been
knows how to get in bed with terrible, terrible partners.
Yeah, are you referencing Nikola?
Yes. What I loved in the Nikola deal, in fairness, is that Nikola thought GM was going to be providing all the tech, and GM thought Nikola was going to be providing all the tech. And at no point did they realize it's like those chat rooms where it's hot chicks, and then you turn on the camera and it's two dudes, and they're like, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had that experience.
I just saw a post on Reddit that was very funny. It was a very,
I,
very
I'm sure you did.
good-looking couple, and then the one guy turns on the camera and he looks like me, and the other guy turns on the camera and it's a young black dude, and they just laugh. Anyway, yeah.
So you know what? Real quick on that Lordstown. I really think that would have been a great truck if it
Yeah.
existed. It was cheap, it was economical, and it's meant for people to use as a work truck, and that's something that's needed. Now the F-150 Lightning will eventually fill that role. So will the Silverado EV, but we're still looking at some time on that. And Lordstown had promised this truck last year. They're never going to make a truck. They're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well,
too
and
bad.
the and the reason it doesn't exist is because it can't. That price, I don't believe. I mean, Rivian can't sell at that price. I mean,
Well-
GM is at double that price, and they've only sold one.
Well, actually, they can't be sold at that price because the Silverado EV and the F-150 Lightning for a base work truck is still supposed to be around 40 grand.
Right.
So they're
But-
actually priced out of that entry level
Right.
market right now.
But none of those trucks exist to compare it to yet. And
That's true.
Ford and Chevy have the ability to sell at a loss. And they've got a depth of engineering talent on their bench that Lordstown can't touch. I mean, they don't, they're not awesome with electric drivetrains yet, but when it comes to actually getting a vehicle into production, they've got 100 years of experience and they do that part well.
Agreed. Well, 100 years of experience, but it's something else. But it's the production experience that they need.
Right.
I bet GM was just sitting there going, "What day can we sell? What day can we sell?" Every day
Yeah.
they're looking at their calendar and they're marking it. We got 4 days left till we could sell our shares.
It's a shame it didn't work
And-
out.
And there's almost nothing left on that stock price.
So one thing I've heard, an argument I've heard in favor of legacy is, well, they've already got the factories, they've already got the facilities, they've already got the buildings and the machines. They can just make EVs. Why is Tesla building whole new factories?
Because they're made for those vehicles.
Volkswagen to build $2.2 billion new EV plant to keep up with Tesla. Yeah,
And why is it so important, Brian, that they build a new plant?
I'll be honest, I don't know. A big open space is a big open space, right? I guess not.
It's not.
It's not, because
Not,
Volkswagen
not.
has seen that it takes them, 10 hours to assemble a car that Tesla can do in 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of differences. Tesla has changed the process of how they're building the car, from the obvious things like using a casting and instead of stamping out 70 little pieces for each rear end of a vehicle, obviously they're now casting those. And I believe that they've changed some things on the production line as far as the direction things go into. And they're also vertically integrated, and that means these parts are coming from somewhere in the factory also. which is saving them with supply issues, which these other legacy manufacturers are still outsourcing a lot of the parts, and they have to come in, and that can cause delays and problems. So
I had a great question the other day on from one of my patrons. He said, if you look at the drone footage in Berlin, you'll see wheels in the dumpsters. Are they casting their own wheels? Because how else are you getting so many wheels in dumpsters?
that's a good question.
That's a very good
And
question.
and I actually was thinking about the fact that they've got all these wheels. I was looking at the Giga Texas site, and you see they're all coming out with the nicer black rims on these Model Ys, and I'm thinking, do they just have a room, a giant room with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of wheels? Because you need 4 of them for every single car, and that starts to take up 4.
Really? Oh, the spare
There's no
isn't
spare.
nice?
There is no spare.
Oh, wow. The best spare is no spare. My mistake.
Yeah, yeah, that's just unnecessary weight.
Yeah.
So, that's got to take up a lot of storage space. So, are they actually just pumping them out there, or are there trucks, semis, just bringing in boxes and boxes of rims
Yeah.
every single day? So, I don't know the answer to that question, but it did cross my mind the other day. So, to see a bunch in a dumpster can mean that they were casting them and those were rejects.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. So, speaking of the Model Y, if you look in Berlin, Tobias Lind, wonderful pilot, is showing they've got so many sitting out there now. And the permit says they can't sell them, but I think that's a gross misunderstanding of how the permit system works. They're not going to scrap $100 million worth of cars. It's because, well, they could use them just like on site. Right, you don't need 2,000 cars on site.
no.
They'll probably be sold out of market because Germany can't prevent them from selling them outside of Germany or the EU.
I would assume that would be a correct statement. They have to be made for whatever market that they're going to, though.
Sure.
I know you're the counter. So what's the actual count of these cars?
So in Germany, I haven't counted them myself, but I've seen numbers in the 600 to 700 range. And we don't know how many have left, but we know some have. And the permit extends to, I think, 2,000. So, and my update is not as recent as this tweet. So this definitely looks like more than when I made my video last week of the side-by-side comparison for
Okay.
that.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they put a couple of white cars in there just for fun. I mean, I understand that a lot of car manufacturers, when they start producing the cars in colors, they stick, if they're doing black, they'll produce a certain amount in black, and then they'll switch to another color. Other car manufacturers I've seen will switch the color on each car as it comes through the line. But it is interesting that black and blue has been very popular in both Texas and in Giga Berlin, except for these 3 white cars that are in
So
there.
do you know how Tesla does their batching with paint? We figured it out from watching the Giga Shanghai inside video that they put out. They paint them all at once in a big batch of one color, send them up into the rafters for storage where the paint cures so it's sufficiently hardened by the time it gets out to production, and they don't have to swap out paint colors nearly as often.
Well, it's usually like the robots. I thought they had they literally are just changing nozzles. Like, remember those big pens with the 4 different colors?
Yeah.
Like, you just press it
Yeah.
and you get the red, and then you get the green.
But I
Just
don't
everything.
know enough about the paint shop to have
Yeah.
a
Neither
serious
do I.
opinion on that. So
Did you count Texas at all?
I did a few days back, and I came out with 345, I think, but it has
Okay.
expanded since then,
Oh, yeah,
And-
it's going to be constantly changing.
right? And the superchargers were loaded up with new cars. You could tell by the little inventory sticker in the window. And if you look at the south end where all the cars are parked, they're digging up right in front of the foot of the building there. And it looks like they may be putting the supercharger, the prefab supercharger, right there,
Oh, okay.
which would make a lot more sense.
Yes, it sure would. You know, I saw a picture, and I'm not sure which factory it was. It might have been Lucid.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you zoom in on one of Jeff's pictures, you can see the superchargers have been installed at the edge of the building.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think I see it. I think it was Lucid. It was a video of a battery pack going down the production line, and it was actually plugged into something as if it was being charged on the production line. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And I don't remember if it was Lucid. I think it was Lucid. But I think that's an interesting way of doing it, because if you have a battery pack that's running down the line, and maybe it's going to having an electric cable that moves with it and charges it before it's even in the car. I thought that's kind of an interesting idea to get them charged before they're actually
Before they,
rolling on their own.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I think that's a great way to integrate to kill two birds with one stone. Because if there's one thing I love, it's killing birds with stones. Apparently.
oh, speaking of birds, you know I got chickens.
Yes. Yes.
I have a rooster by accident, and the other day he jumped on another chicken trying to mate with her, and I yelled at him because I was right there for him to get off. I mean, it's his thing, but roosters are mean and they'll claw the chicken, so I yelled at him to get off. He got off, and the other chicken just was laying there, dead as a doornail. He killed that bird
Did he really?
with yeah, he killed the bird. I thought maybe she was playing dead, because they will play dead. They literally will keel over and act like they're dead. So gave her a little chicken CPR and put her over by a heater, hoping that she would wake up. And when I came back later, she was stiff.
Wow.
So I am going to kill two. Well, he killed one bird, and I'm going to kill him. His execution date is set for tomorrow, because trash day. He's got to go in the trash can. I don't want him smelling it up. So anybody want a rooster, you got 24 hours to save him. Just saying.
Oh, so yeah, Texas is moving along nice. Did you see the event details have been made public?
Yes, I did see that, thanks to you, because I did not see that initially. 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'm still, anybody know, please let Brian or I aware of how to get a ticket. I don't know if I could. I've got a relative that lives in Dallas, which is not the Austin area, but maybe I can schnizzle dizzle my way in there somehow. But we need some clues on how to get this taken care of and get us in there, because Brian's going regardless, and I really want to get in there. I've been on the outside, and it's great, but I want in. So we have to figure out a way to get tickets. So if anybody could help us, please do.
So 15,000 in attendance, 4 p.m. to midnight, free drinks, which is why you need self-driving cars. And yeah, it'll be apparently quite similar to the event that was held in Berlin. And Bear and I were talking, and we'd like to hear your opinions in the comments. How many, if it was just open, just anybody who wants a ticket can get a ticket, how many people do you think would go? Because 15,000 strikes us as a pretty fair, high number. I mean, Bear, what do you think? I mean, honestly, if it was open to everyone, how many would actually show up?
I'm gonna say roughly what they're allowing, 14. What was it, 14 or 15,000? 15. So I think it's going to be two less than that if it was open, which leaves room for two tickets for us.
I think
that makes
15,000 is an appropriate number. The only way it could be bigger, I think, is if they did a 2-day event instead. But then how do you figure out who's, which speakers, which day? I mean, there are.
Right.
Paul says 100,000. I do not think it would be 100,000. I do not think it would be 100,000.
I don't either. You got to remember, most of the people that are going there are Tesla fans,
Hmm.
and I know that there's a lot of Tesla fans,
Hmm.
but it's not like a sporting event,
Right.
and it just it will fill up. I have no doubt that they'll have 15,000 people there.
But remember, 15,000, that's like selling out Madison Square Gardens, which is very hard to do, even for big celebrities, in a city, in a metro that has 15 million people.
That is true. So yeah, we just need to find a way, and I don't want to have to break in. I think
Just got to grab the high
because
vis vest, clipboard, and a hard
oh
hat.
yeah,
Away we go.
I could might be able to fake that in some sort of badge,
Yeah.
a lanyard
Yeah.
with maybe a couple badges in there, and be like, "Oh my God, what did my wife do?" Oh, you know, or the kids were playing with my badge. I told them. But if they're giving free alcohol and it's in Texas, that could be like somebody opening up a rave
Yeah.
for free with free alcohol, and that may not. It could end up 100,000 people. So
Anybody else building anything?
yeah, we are trying to build our YouTube channels up,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and we would like to see more subscribers,
Yeah.
and we'd like to see more likes on our videos. The more likes and the more subscribers and the more you guys view this, the more it's going to hit the YouTube algorithm,
Yeah.
and more people will see our content. And
Yeah.
we would really appreciate it if you take a look at Brian's channel. If you're on mine, give him a subscribe. Even if you don't like him, it doesn't cost you anything.
You know, I
Just
got to
do
tell
it.
you, Lily Mae did connect with me after last week and clarified that she doesn't dislike me. I think it was a joke that just didn't land, which is good because, you know, I don't know. I always thought she was very friendly.
I always thought she was too, and she is here today. So hello,
Oh,
Lily.
hello, Lily Mae.
Yeah,
I
she made a comment about rooster soup.
I agree with her. I think that's a better solution than the trash. It's recycling. The the other thing is I've added a level to my Patreon called Podfather, and if anyone wants to get on that, that would help me make minimum wage for this venture, which would be nice.
The Podfather.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Should I even ask how much is the Podfather?
I don't remember, like 121 or something.
Oh,
It's all right.
it's an interesting number.
Yeah,
Interesting.
well, I did the math. Panasonic is planning a large battery cell factory in the U.S. to supply Tesla's demand, report says.
Yeah. Well, does this article say where it's going to be?
Well, I don't know if this one says it. Yeah, Oklahoma or Kansas is the short list. So that would be
Wouldn't it wouldn't it make sense on something like a battery factory to have the batteries close by?
yeah, like a mile away at most.
Yeah. I don't understand when they're doing these things when like putting a battery factory in one state, and they all have to, every single battery is going to have to be shipped
Right.
to the factory for final assembly. And when you think about the size of like a battery pack for a Tesla, um,
How
how
many can
many
you fit
how
on a
how many can
truck?
you fit on a trailer?
Yeah,
Um, are you going to get like 10 high?
I don't think so. I
Um,
think the weight would become prohibitive.
yeah, I think the weight becomes a problem before the space does, and the
Yeah,
space it's still a very bulky
yeah,
product. So
yeah,
you're running either trains or diesel trucks just hauling battery packs, assembled battery packs back and forth. And that's what they're doing. And Shanghai is going to be building the battery packs for Giga Berlin until
yeah.
Giga Berlin switches over to the 4680. So that just seems like a very high cost. And the further you are, the longer the shipping and the more expensive the shipping.
And the more resources that are tied up in transit, which is
Hmm.
money. And
Yes.
CATL, I don't know if you saw on Wuwa's channel, has broken ground on their new factory 2.5 kilometers from Giga Shanghai. And it's going to be a beast. It's going to be like a 6 to 8 million square foot LFP factory.
Yeah. That is very, very large.
It's a Yeah, and you know what it's there for. So that was good news, by the way, that Shanghai has the capacity to build the batteries during Berlin's ramp without
Yeah.
impacting their own production.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it was 5,000 battery packs a week that they have capacity for.
Surplus.
Overflow. Yeah,
Surplus.
overflow, surplus,
Yeah.
extra. That's quite the capacity there.
Yeah, John's touchpad said, ship the battery packs by train. Boy, America's rail system is just not ideal. Train is the best way to move something on a cost per kilogram basis in terms of efficiency and all that. But we have just not invested in our rail infrastructure.
Yes and no. It depends on where you're at. That's that's part of the problem. Is it depends on where you're at. We discovered last week, and Riley and I had missed this on our flyovers of Lucid, but there is a train track that literally ends. It's a spur that comes off the main line, which is like 3 or 4 miles away, and it literally ends on the north side of the Lucid property. And future plans have that spur going through the Lucid property and then continuing south with a spur right on the Lucid property for them to load cars onto train car haulers.
So, did
Uh,
you know Tesla's, when it was the Numi plant, had a rail yard in it, which they tore up?
yeah, they didn't want
No,
it.
no. Because I made a video of, 15 years of satellite footage of the location, and it was interesting. I was going to go into massive detail, and then I got buried on it, and I just finally I just had to release it.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I haven't seen any rail yards near Giga, Texas. I know there is one right by Giga Berlin,
I know
and
Nikola has plans to tap into that existing rail yard, or I think they do. Do they?
I don't know that they do. I haven't seen anything,
But the train is
but
right there.
it's right there.
It would
It's
not be prohibitive to put a stub
mhm,
there if to put a spur there
spur,
if
spur.
the volume. But I mean, they're semis. Just drive them. I don't know.
Well, you don't want to drive them.
Put them on a truck.
Well, yeah. It, well, the thing is, they have to go on a flatbed. I often have seen semis being transported, brand new ones, where they stack them.
Right.
There's a name for it,
Human
and you'll
centipede.
see. Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 of them
Butts to
attached to one.
nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that yeah, they're humping each other. There's like a
Hmm.
they're they're making a little love train out of it.
Yeah, that's how they
Um,
get the semi.
yeah. So there is wear and tear on that, and that's also you've got a driver. It's going to cost more than putting them on a train. I think
Absolutely.
you could probably fit a couple of them on a train, and maybe one day they will do the spur thing, because right now they're taking them out on flatbeds. And by the way, just to throw out a little Nicola for JJ, and JJ knows this, there it seems like every day that we go there, we're seeing 1 or 2 new trucks out in the yard, and they're getting loaded up and putting onto flatbeds and being taken away off to testing and then delivery for all the LOIs that they have now. So production is really starting to ramp up there. Not
Mr.
like
Bogue said it's called piggybacking.
well, that's not as exciting of a name. There's got to be something better than that.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Love Train.
Truck humping.
Trunk trunk humping, trunk humping.
We have fun. So, you had to buy any gas this week, Bear?
Actually, no, which is a good thing
Yeah.
because wow, I'm happy that I have 2 Teslas, and yeah, I my F-250. The only thing I do with it is rent it out, so I don't have to put gas in it for that. So I'm fortunate, and I do feel for everyone who is not driving an electric vehicle right now, and and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. You ever notice that when prices spike like this, uh, instantly they change at the gas station, But when they start to go down, it takes months for them to trickle back down to where they were.
If you're willing to pay 417, we're in no rush to get it back to 389.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when oil prices are up, they increase the price, and when oil prices go down, well, they have to increase the price, and so no matter what happens, gas goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying, well, if they built one extra pipeline, that wouldn't do anything. That's a drop in the bucket, and we don't really have a lack of pipelines.
Well, I don't. We don't get into politics here too much, but a few years ago, United States was energy independent, and we were exporting oil, and things have changed, and that's part of the problem, I think. But we're not going to get too political.
Well,
So I think things
I'd say the whole
turned around
problem
on that.
comes down to 50 years of bad policy globally.
Oh yeah,
So that's me
and,
attacking all politicians around the world.
yeah, and don't buy oil from someone who's going to be taking that money to invade other people. Could you imagine if in World War II, if we were buying our oil from Germany during the whole war?
Yeah.
Would that seem a little weird, you
It
know?
would, but oil is fungible, so if we're buying it from anyone, someone is buying it from someone else. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's enough of that. I would be curious in the
But
comments if anyone wants to tell me what they're paying for gas. I managed to fill up all the way at I think 376 a gallon. And I was pleased because now it's already over 4. And luckily I have nowhere to go.
yeah, that is fortunate. Yeah, and I would like to see in my comments also, everyone just type your number in. Last time you got gas, how much was it? I'm
Yeah.
just I was going to ask that question too, but Brian asked it first. Yeah, everyone, let's see what you're paying. Because here in Arizona, I did get 4 gallons of gas the other day. I had to top off the F-250 before rental, and I put in about 4 gallons, and it was $4 a gallon. So what is everyone paying? Let's see it.
All
Right
right.
after you put in your number, go ahead and hit the like button on our respective videos.
So Tesla
So
unveils supercharger station built in only 8 days thanks to new prefab system.
they should have competitions between these guys. Like, remember Name That Tune? Like, I can name that tune in
3
3 notes. How about
seconds.
I could build that supercharger station in 7 days?
So China used to go nutso building things instantly, and
Hmm.
apparently it caused a number of problems because you know.
They were building hospitals in like 30
Oh,
minutes,
oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
that doesn't work out.
yeah. So, by the way, in the comments we're seeing 450, 379, 409, 360, $2 Canadian per liter for diesel, which would be about $8 probably. Would
Wow.
it, Paul? 369.
You know
Yep.
what? Let's anyone who's going to put in their number, put in their location also.
Oh yeah, 379 in Northeast Ohio. Uh,
I, I've got okay.
359 in Florida.
I've got 360. I got a 409, a 525, and someone said a UFOologist. I haven't bought gas for months. Nice.
Nice.
A 4.5, a 379 in Northeast Ohio,
Yeah.
359 in Jacksonville, Florida. So Florida might be the place to be, huh? I wonder where Mr. Bogues is. He might be in Florida also.
So a lot of times on my travels, at least, Wyoming seems to have very cheap gas. But okay.
Yes,
So yeah, the
yes, that
prefab system, this is great. What they do is it's just a single piece built at a factory that's good at building single pieces. And then you just prep the land, run the lines, pop it in, you're done.
yeah, they've had these out for a while. And it's no surprise that Fred Lambert is going to push this out like it's brand new news because they've been doing this. They put a couple of these in at Giga, Texas, and I think it's cool just to
Yeah.
show everyone. But Tesla has been doing this for several months now, and it is definitely a way to accelerate getting everything installed. And I knock Fred Lambert, the author, because he is a Nikola hitman. So
Yeah, he doesn't make friends in very many places.
yeah, he wrote a hit piece making some false statements about hiring freezes on Nikola a month or so ago. And
Fred put his referral code on every article on electric for a year, and he is due 2 free roadsters.
yeah, that's not cool.
It's
That's
not
not
cool.
cool.
I think Fred is one of the reasons the referral program was neutered the way it was, because
Yeah, thank
that's not what it was for.
thank you, Mary. Thank you, Fred.
Leaders all around. Mark's paying $32 per month for his bus pass.
Nice.
That's nice,
We
Mark.
got
That's the way to do it.
yeah, $3.93 at the Costco in Phoenix, and Torstein says nothing. I don't have a car anymore in Berlin. Okay. Mr. Bogues was in Arkansas with his 360. We've got let's see, a 409 in Washington near Seattle, 416 in Lacey, Washington, and 221 euro. And I just don't know for
I
how
assume that's
much
per
though.
liter.
Liter?
That's got to
Yeah,
be per
probably.
liter. So
Yes.
that'd be like $10 a gallon. Closer.
Oh, that's
Well, Europe, I mean, the taxes on the gasoline is what pays for the buses and the trains and all the transit. By the way, on Bears Channel, howdy all my fellow Washingtonians.
yeah. There's quite a few here, huh?
Yeah, we're taking over. So,
No,
any
you're not.
new exciting cars announced this week?
Yeah, this one baffles me. I do. Sony and Honda plan to make electric vehicles together. Honda's obviously capable of making a car. They've made electric ones before. They were probably one of the early ones to do it before they decided that they're just not going to put that much effort into it. So I'm asking you, Brian, what is Sony going to do on this?
Does Sony
what's
have
their
like
role?
electric? I mean, they make electronics. An EV's electronics, right?
Yeah.
Are they uniquely qualified? I don't understand. Honda also has a humanoid robot that they've been working on for 20 years
That's true.
that can
Yeah.
do all kinds of cute things, including fall off a stage. So Sony will make the sound system. I'm sure they would do all the electronics. I imagine their R&D department could be very capably reassigned to work on batteries and motors and controllers. But it's a weird partnership. But what's the deadline on it again? It's way out there. 2025.
Yeah, 2025. That's not as far out as you think, but still, I
Well,
just don't know what Sony brings to the table.
but 2025 is the target. No one hits their targets in EV land.
Yeah,
On your
I know.
channel, 4Q said it comes with a Walkman.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to make a new yoke that's shaped like a PlayStation controller,
Yeah.
and that'll be how you drive like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Yeah. And then if you want, you can pass it to the backseat drivers can actually drive the car into things because the visibility from there is probably not great. It's-
It happens.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
The styling looks entirely stolen.
It looks very.
It
What's
looks like
the
they're
word?
trying to be a Taycan from the front.
Well, on the one article, it does. On the Motor Trend article, if you go down to this, what is it, the third picture?
Oh, I see.
I look at that. I look at that and go, eh,
Bar soap.
yeah. It's just
That looks
eh.
like a knockoff Xiaopeng. Xpeng.
Well, Xpeng. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah,
Xpeng?
that's how it's pronounced.
Xiaopeng.
Xiaopeng.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to get a little more phonetic for us
Yeah.
English speakers.
Just call it an
Yes.
Xpeng. You'll sell more.
Yeah, because it's very hard for us English speakers to look at an X and pronounce an SH.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on it. I'm practicing with the Chinese president's name because I always want to say Z or E. I don't even know what I want to say, but it's she because that's what the X is. So anyway,
So
not that important.
we're doing good on time. I love this one you brought up, Dodge. Go ahead.
Oh God, this is I signed up for the Dodge update thing, so every 2 weeks I'm now getting a picture of nearly nothing, and with no information saying that you are going to participate in helping to develop this car by giving us feedback. And then you get stuff like this. And notice how it says see all one photo. So there is
I
no
did
other
see
photo.
that too.
Yeah. So I love the idea that they're going to make an electric muscle car, because if they actually make something that is like super powerful, they have the potential to knock off the Plaid. But we're still looking at 2024 for some, and it'll get delayed another 3 years. But if you got a concept, you need to put it out there instead of just sending out emails saying it's going to be loud and it's going to be fast,
Yeah.
and that's all we're going to tell you.
Yeah.
Uh, Show us something, because I look at this and I just keep thinking. Besides that, I want to drink. I just keep thinking that they don't have anything.
Right.
They don't even have a design yet.
Yeah.
Put it out.
Yeah. So what are they going to do to make it loud? Now, don't tell me speakers, because there's been a lot of consumer pushback about artificial noise in muscle cars. No, what I think they're going to do is put a differential in it with square teeth instead of angled, so that it sounds like you're in reverse, so that it makes noise. That would be
Maybe what was it? There was a World War II plane.
Messerschmitt.
Well, it would whistle as it came down.
Yeah, on
Or
purpose.
maybe that was the V1 rocket that did that. I don't know, but there was a weapon in World War II that, as it was coming at you, it would make more noise. It would start whistling.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the rockets. So maybe they're going to do that. They're going to have a little wind turbine that whistles at you the faster you go.
So hats off to Scott in your channel. Obviously, it will be called a Dodge Charger. That's a good one.
E-charger.
Oh,
E-charger.
they probably would, huh?
Yeah, probably. But Charger would obviously be a good name. Let's just hope they don't turn it into some crossover utility vehicle.
You know they're gonna.
They're going to screw this up because
Oh.
they can't even show us a picture of it.
Are you drinking straight out of the Nestle Quick chocolate syrup bottle?
That's right. You see? Yeah.
It
This
does
is
kind of
syrup.
look like it. I can see that.
It does. This is a Body Armor fruit punch. I had bought a Body Armor the blowout berry thing this morning, and when I drank it, it tasted like dishwater soap. Not soap, but dishwater without the soap. It wasn't even clean dishwater, and it was nasty. So I had to get rid of it.
So Mark had a pretty good idea on how they'll actually make the noise without just put baseball cards in the spokes.
That will work too.
That will do. So GM
GM again.
looking at bi-directional.
Yes. Now, we had shown an article a week or two ago about Ford had a bi-directional charger that they were installing or going to be installing for people in their homes for around $1,500. And that way you could use your battery pack on your F-150 Lightning as a backup to your house, which is a great idea. People have asked Tesla for that. They said it will happen one day. And that's pretty much all that we've heard. Now, the nice thing about this with GM doing this is that if they do this on the Hummer, you actually would have like an over 200 kilowatt battery.
Days.
So that that's one of the real positive things I finally found out about this Hummer idea, because I'm not a big fan of the Hummer concept. Is that just using that as a giant power wall in your house is, especially if you were to use it, if you just wanted to casually use it in peak times, drain the battery and use cheaper electricity and recharge it at night.
Paul had another good point. This idea, Mary led.
Oh, yes.
She's leading the industry in bi-directional charging, which, I don't know if you remember this, but the original Tesla Roadster did have They
Yes,
just
it
found
did.
that people didn't use it, so they didn't add the extra circuitry to make it happen. Yeah,
I I think that it probably didn't get used that much because there was probably some sort of lack of understanding.
for sure.
Um, Plus, you really, and I don't think that there was an app for it at that time, was there?
Oh, I
Because
don't know. I don't
if
know.
you had an app, like they have an app for the Powerwall now, and that is something where you can control the direction of your electricity and where it's coming from to your Powerwalls. So now that they have the Powerwall and the app for it, you'd be able to control that a whole lot better.
So, do you remember how many original Roadsters were sold?
No, I don't.
It's like 2,300, I think.
I know that like 2 months ago, a whole bunch of them got caught in a fire.
Yeah, that was tragic. I think that wasn't even the
Yeah.
first fire at that shop.
That is correct. You know what? We talked about it.
I
That's why
think
I
we
know
did.
about it.
That was tragic. That was tragic. Those are not coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything going on with nickel?
Wait.
Yes.
Mr. C says that this pilot program right here for the bi-directional charger is for all of GM's 26 customers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a real leadership, is what that is.
Yeah.
Mary.
So
Yeah, nickel's price
nickel.
surge could threaten automakers' ambitious electric vehicle plans. What's this about?
Well, because of some dude again named Putton, the price of nickel has exploded because a lot of the world's nickel comes from Russia, and a lot of batteries use nickel. So that is a problem, or can be a problem, if you are not prepared, because the price of like a ton of nickel is now $100,000 per ton. Compared to gold, that's still pretty cheap, but that is very expensive, uh, and it's all due to Russia being a key supplier of the metal. So I was looking at this, wondering how that affects different things, and the I was thinking about the LFP batteries. They don't have nickel in it, so any car manufacturer or EV manufacturer that is going to be using the lithium iron phosphate does not have to worry about this problem with nickel, which is great. And what else did we find out about this, Brian?
Well, did we want to talk about the benefits of lithium iron phosphate? Or did we want to
Yeah,
do. Yeah, let's cover that real quick.
go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
the lithium iron phosphate is a great battery. You can charge it from 0 to 100 without damaging it. In fact, it kind of prefers it, as opposed to the nickel cobalt formula, where they like you to stay in the 20 to 80 range. It's not as energy dense, so you get more weight for less range, but it's a cheaper battery, and it uses readily available materials. There are no conflict minerals, there are no high cost items in the battery. And the patent just expired. So anyone can use them now. And they're
Even
already,
me.
yeah, and they're in some Teslas already. They've been using them in China for about a year now, and they're just coming out of Fremont now. So it's great.
Yeah, when I first saw these coming out, I was a little hesitant because they came out, they were saying that they had less range. It was like 10, 15 miles. And I was like, going to just be the old guy complaining about everything. And I was like, oh, well, that's crap. I want more range. But I know that I have less range in my nickel battery in my Model Y and my Model 3 because I can only go to 80% without the car yelling at me all the time,
Yeah.
saying
And you've got the
saying
buffer on
you're
both
overcharging it.
sides.
Yeah. So
So,
I
yeah.
would rather, yeah, I would rather have this. Right now, the 4680s are not using this formula, and I wonder if they can. And if they could, that would really be awesome.
So Jordan Giesecke from the Limiting Factor has said there's no reason they can't.
Okay.
So that could be
Well,
a thing.
that would be great if it was a thing. I just see so many advantages to this because having the Mustang Mach E. I hate saying that. That's two words together. Uh, but they actually limit your chart. You can't go over 80%, just period. So that extra 20% is not even available to you, which is then it doesn't exist. So I don't understand how you can say that. But it's just locked out. Um, and it's just a waste. I know Teslas, they let you go over for long trips, and that's great. Long trips, I always get yelled at by the car. Stop doing this. You're going to hurt me. Uh, so, yeah, I would rather have an LFP battery that it has the initial range that is shorter, but I could use 100% as opposed to 80%. So,
Hockey Day said Canada can easily supply, I think that's 2 million, nope, 200,000 tons of nickel at the current rate. And that's certainly true, I believe, but it costs more than Russian nickel, I bet, due to everything, due to
ice,
costs.
ice.
And he said, and also millions of gallons of maple syrup. You know, they have a strategic
Syrup.
maple syrup reserve.
I do know that, and I
Yeah.
think that's just weird, but
crazy.
funny. So Tesla, what have they done in regards to this?
Yeah, what have they done is Inc.'s new nickel supply deal inches closer to 4680 mass production.
The article is a little bit old, but
Yep.
it was in reference to the nickel supply costing more. So go ahead, Brian, if you'd like.
So this new mine in New Caledonia that's just getting started, basically Tesla agreed to buy all of their nickel. Just, hey man, do you want to deal with customers or just deal with us? And 44,000 tons by 2024, doubling its estimated 2021 output. So Tesla has been very clear on the conference call. What was that, Q3? Elon said, hey, if you're a nickel supplier, get us nickel, we will buy it. Please mine more nickel and don't wait for nickel to go back to some high point that you've experienced some 5 years ago. Go for efficiency and environmentally friendly nickel at high volume. Tesla will give you a giant contract for a long period of time.
Yeah, you wonder why they don't just like buy that company. I mean,
Well, some mining companies are prohibitively expensive to buy. And also I think they're already stretched pretty thin in terms of being effective at what they're doing. I think they've got a lot on their plate already.
yeah, that is true. Lily May pointed out that nickel is also used on stainless steel.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I know of another company that is big on stainless steel products, and that would be SpaceX.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they need a lot of nickel.
And fortunately, SpaceX aims to reuse the stainless that they use and not just dump it in the ocean.
Why is that a problem?
Well, you don't get to use it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of wasteful. Think of how far behind Starlink would be if they had to build a new rocket for every launch. Because a lot of those rockets have flown 10 times or more.
They're up to 11. There's I think two of them that have gone 11 times. You know what? It now seems absurd that these other rockets go up and then they are just dumped into the ocean.
Yeah.
And the rocket engines, and now with now we have sanctions on the rocket engines, and we talked about this last week. So every engine that they shoot up is they're literally throwing it away, which is normal. But as opposed to SpaceX, oh well, there goes 9 engines. Well, they're coming back, so we're going to get to use them again. They don't have the supply issue, and
Right.
it just seems so absurd to throw away an entire rocket on every launch.
Right.
Nowadays, it does.
Oh, yeah. So on your channel, on Johnest, suggested the Musk E.
Yes. Did
That's
you
a-
say jaundice?
Yeah.
Jaundice?
On Johnest. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you said jaundice.
No. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4Q asked, why does no one put solar panels on their car? And the answer is your car isn't large enough to generate a meaningful amount of power. no matter what the efficiency rate you get is, because its total surface area is very small. That's why, rooftop solar for your house covers a huge, huge area. Bear's got a cool video about the solar on his roof, and it's large, and it wouldn't be able to power a car in real time.
That is a fact. I've got 12.9 kilowatts on my roof. I do have space for a little bit more, and I probably should have gotten more because I do not generate enough electricity in the summertime here to come even close. I'm still going to have a power bill or electric bill this month, and this is a normal low month for Arizona, and it's still going to be $100 for my electricity. So if I could, I would put more panels on. Cars, unfortunately, it's just not enough space unless somebody has some breakthrough technology.
No, breakthrough technology won't help, because even if you could harness 100% of the rays hitting your car is still too small.
Well, that's why you need a breakthrough technology.
Well, then it wouldn't be solar panels anymore.
I remember watching a video a long time ago on solar panels, like I think on the ISS, and each little section on the solar panels that they had, like this big, was like 1 watt.
Oh, wow.
So if it wasn't this big, it was smaller. So if they get to the point where each one of these, like this size, is now 25 watts or 50 watts or 10 watts, just being able to have a smaller, whatever that dimension is for, watts per square inch or whatever it is, that's the breakthrough that we would need, because then you could put 100 kilowatts on a roof for the same space. That's something that would make a difference. So just being able to capture more electricity from a smaller space, that's the breakthrough I'm talking about. Because then, you've got the perpetual motion machine.
Right. So Rob asked, do we know if Tesla's making 4680s in Austin yet? And the official answer is they are not, but I don't believe that. I do not believe that. The machines have been in for too long, being configured for months. I don't believe it. The volume is certainly not high because Fremont only made their 2 millionth cell. Remember, they only hit 1 million in January. They've now hit their 2 million. But still, that's only enough for another 1,200 cars.
Yeah,
that
was Cato Road, not Fremont.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Cato Road. Thank you. And
God, Brian, don't do that again.
I know that's a mistake that I am not likely to repeat. So I would say absolutely, they're certainly getting some usable cells. And one question I'd like to ask is, of the rejected cells, could those be used for something with a less intensive power requirement, like power walls or megapacks?
A vape. I want a 4680 vape.
Yeah.
I'm not using this, so YouTube, don't. I'm just showing.
Right, and what it could be is branded by Red Bull because it's the right shape.
Yeah.
Size.
Going to a comment real quick. Olivia said no Lucid, and I assume that's a question mark. And no, there really isn't much to report on Lucid for today. We're still waiting to see something change with the cars. The cars that we've seen are leaving. Hopefully, they're actually leaving the site, not going back inside. Brian, I'm still got tears in my eyes over the amount of cars that have been produced there, especially since either Giga, Berlin, or Texas has now produced more cars.
Yeah,
I know they have a lot more experience and things like that. Yeah. But it's just I'm still very disappointed. But we will be flying out there today. Yeah. We are getting late, so maybe we can quickly go over what we got planned for this week, because I've got a Lucid flyover with a live stream tomorrow and a Nikola flyover. Same thing on Friday, 2 flyovers. And Brian, what do you got going on this week?
I've got my Friday live stream. I was not able to do it last week. I've got a video that came out just this morning about responding to more Cybertruck questions. And I've got 2 more of those coming out over the next week, at least. And I did want to say, as we always do, we both do, a big thanks to our Patreons who make this possible. So that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for your support on both channels. And remember, when you support Bear on Patreon, it makes him fly more often. Well, we're back to the Red Bull, aren't we?
Oh, man, give you wings.
So, yeah, I think that's about all we need to do. And we can wrap it up right there.
I think we are going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone on my channel for being here. Don't forget to check out the Patreon channel or our Patreon page for either Brian or for me. We'd love your support. We love anybody's support. Almost. We are not going to take any Russian oil. So that's not the support we're looking for. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I'm going to sign off here. Brian, how about you? You going to stick around?
I'm going to just sit here, but I am going to end the stream.
Okay.
And by the way, just so you guys know,
similar.
this is ridiculous. Not only do we talk for like 20 to 30 minutes before the show, we usually talk for 20 to 30 minutes after the show.
Yeah, and then we don't talk all week.
Then we don't talk all week. That's true. Yeah.
We make a point not to discuss what we're going to talk about because...
Save it. Save it for the show. Save it for the pod.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.